clearly. Can you listen? The words I'm saying that I'm playing. So what, you may ask? Exactly. So I'm going to give some examples of these four things. So some context, excuse me. Keep saying content when I mean context. So context examples. So you're at a party and you ask everyone to be silent while you make a toast. And then you go, I would like to toast Jamie, drink up. So just with that tone and without any further information, you all have your own interpretation of that. What is my intent? What is my tone? All that kind of stuff. But what if I provided more context? Okay, I'll give you two contexts. So Jamie's my fiance, and we just got engaged. I mean, Jamie's not my fiance, but I'm just giving you an example. So Jamie's my fiance. It's the first time we were at a party. I just wanted to toast her because she's the love of my life. And so actually, Kaylee's my fiance, so I should probably use her name. But anyways, she's the love of my life, and I just wanted to honor her and like have a sip of champagne and have everybody toast her and acknowledge our love in public. So see how that changes the whole thing? Now, here's the flip side, totally different context. What if I'm an ass and Jamie's an alcoholic and she's really struggling with keeping sober, and I'm just an ass and I don't think alcoholism is a disease and I think it's all made up, and I used to drink with her in college and just all that context. And then I go, I'd like to toast Jamie, drink up. Then that tone and that context and that intent and that meaning is totally different. So context is very important, especially for people like myself who are introverted in the Myers-Briggs sense. I often tell people, here, I'm going to go to camera. Feels impersonal. I often when I tell people I'm an INFP on the Myers-Briggs scale, and with the I being introvert, they don't believe me because I'm very vocal. I love people and things like that. But I ask them one question, and then they always almost go, yeah, you definitely are an introvert. So basically what I tell them, I say, hey, has there ever been a time where I came up to you? It was like our first meeting for that day, or we hadn't talked in a while. I come up to you and I start speaking to you. And even my first words, my first sentence, your response is, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. That is because I didn't provide context. In my introverted mind, I'm having a conversation inside my head. So all the context is up here. But if I don't tell you what my context is, you're going to be lost because you're not privy to the beginning of the story of the context. So to me, those are examples of context. And there's one other I think I put on there. Okay. Oh, yeah. So this one, I love this one. University student nodding off in the back of class. So for 20 years, actually 21, I taught at University of Phoenix in various campuses wherever I lived, in person, online. I taught at Oregon Institute of Technology. I taught inside Boeing. It's not called Boeing University, but for lack of explaining it, I'll just say it was a university inside of Boeing, and all the companies I work for, I did a lot of training. So anyways, I'm at University of Phoenix, and that's usually a night class. And their audience is usually people that have a day job or whatever. And so they come in afterwards, and my classes would run, I think they were 4 hours, so like 6 to 10. So I had this one guy, we'll call him Herbie. That's not his real name. We'll just, for the practices of protecting the innocent, we'll call him Herbie. So Herbie would come into the classroom. He'd always sit in the back table. And then within 5 minutes of my lecture, before I did any exercises or whatever, he would kind of do, oh, I'm really glad I have me on the camera now. He would kind of like do this. So I'd be lying down, his eyes were closed and all that kind of stuff. And I assumed he was sleeping. So in the University of Phoenix, there are 10-week classes. So by the fourth week, if you don't drop the class, then you have to pay for the whole semester. So about week 4, I went up to Herbie and I said, hey, Herbie, you should really think about dropping this class. I mean, all you do is come in and then you sleep the whole class. You participate in the exercises most of the time, but you're just back here and all this kind of stuff. And he got this he's like, I thought he was going to cry, and I almost cried. He's like, no, Professor Benkover, you do not understand. And then he gave me the context, and here's his context. He goes, my wife just died, I'm holding down 3 jobs. I'm trying to get this degree so that I can do better for my kids. And it takes everything I have to come to your class and listen. And that's why I have a tape recorder. I listen to it whenever I have the opportunity, breaks at work or whatever. I listen. And then he said the thing that just kicked me in the gut. I probably did tear up a little, but I don't do well with that with people I don't really know that well. So he said, and you are one of my favorite teachers of all time. I'm not saying this for great props. I'm just showing you how divided the context, intent, meaning, tone were. I assumed one thing as a receiver, and what was going on in his inner world was totally different than what I was thinking. And it was like a punch in the gut. I was like, ah. And then after I recovered, I took a couple breaths. I forced down the tears, and I'm like, okay, I'm really glad you like this class, and just let me know. I will make the time for you. So if you get a break at work or whatever, I'll give you my phone number. You text me, and you tell me when you have a few minutes, and we can talk on the phone. I can explain things you didn't get, and then I'd really helped him. And he was one of my best students. But that just shows context, tone, meaning, and intent. The sender and the receiver, that was a total mismatch. So, anyway.
Can you hear me? Can you listen? The words I'm saying.